Hey everybody, good morning and welcome to another edition of CMZ Live. I'm Brian Price, one of the animal keepers here at Cleveland Metro Park Zoo, and I'm excited for you to join today's live stream featuring our gorilla troop. Tune in now to learn about the troop, and please drop any questions you have in the comments.
Muted.
All right, good. Gross.
All right, so I'll have fact sheet.
It's like I
You guys want to do fact one now? Just get it going. All right.
Here at Cleveland Metro Park Zoo, we have 8 western lowland gorillas in a family group or troop located at the Primate Cat and Aquatics building. Gorillas have been housed here at Cleveland for nearly 50 years, and we have a number of world-renowned gorilla researchers and experts here on the staff. If you've been a frequent zoo visitor over the years, you've probably noticed that our gorilla group has changed quite a bit over the last few years, going from a small, quiet group of bachelor silverbacks to a lively troop of 5 adults and 3 fun kids. Okay, let's do a quick reintroduction of our 5 adult gorillas. First and most recognizable in our group is our 37-year-old silverback Makolo. He's the natural leader and defender of our troop. Our females include the fabulous, confident Frederica, 51-year-old mother of Kayembe and Jamila, and the kind of de facto matriarch of the troop. Kate Morio is 34. She's the mother of Kunda and also a strong and determined member of the group. And Freddie's kind of right-hand gorilla there. She usually can be seen hanging out near Fred as their kids wrestle and play nearby. Playful Nanika at 26 is the youngest adult in the group, and she likes to hang out on top of those high platforms there you saw in the yard. She collects a lot of browse and alfalfa and likes to hoard it up there on those high platforms at those highest points of the exhibit. And then on your screen right now, that's our 35-year-old Tusa. She's our most subordinate female in the group, and she kind of tries to tend mostly keep to herself in a nice quiet corner of the yard. And there's also a pretty significant social hierarchy in the females, and the mothers and their offspring are usually at the top of that ladder. Okay, seeing right up there on your screen right now, that's our silverback Makolo hanging out and eating some of those good treats we put out for him this morning. Gorillas are a good example of sexual dimorphism in the animal world, meaning that there are pretty significant physical differences between the males and the females. Adult male gorillas are called silverbacks. You can see due to that silvery gray saddle of hair covering their back all the way down to their hips. And they have a pretty prominent sagittal crest on their head and large canines that develop as they mature. Silverbacks are nearly twice the size of the females and can be up to 6 foot tall when standing and can weigh almost 500 pounds. So Makolo right there, he's about 5'8", 5'9", and he clocks in at about 400 pounds. If you can imagine our 60-pound Cayembe, our little 4-year-old running around, one day he'll be the same size as Makolo. In contrast, female gorillas are quite a bit smaller, and they average between 4.5 to 5 foot tall and weigh in around 200 pounds. Our little Jamila and Kunda, our 2 little girls in the group, will eventually get up to that same size. Yeah, we had a question come in and asking if that was a paper mache balloon, and yeah, it is. It's a paper mache that we have some excellent volunteers that help make us enrichment, and it had some alfalfa and greens that we stuffed those with. Enrichment is something that we try to give the gorillas every day. We try and give them something different, just to give them puzzle feeders or extra browse, different bedding options, different toys like stuffed tubes, stuffed paper mache, just to kind of enhance their day and make them think about things in a little different way. Our adults are pretty incredible and impressive, but the real stars of our show here in Cleveland are our 3 youngsters. You can see right there climbing up on that platform, that's our youngster Kunda. She just turned 2 in July. Kayembe, we'll start with him. He was the first ever gorilla born here at Cleveland Metro Park Zoo in the fall of 2021. He'll be 4 years old in October. And he's pretty much a typical kid. He's 100% energy 100% of the time, and you can see him bouncing from end to end of the exhibit, trying to play with his aunts and his mom and his sisters. Our 2 youngest toddlers are Kunda and Jamila. Kunda is KB's daughter, and like I said, she just turned 2 recently in July. You can see now she's getting more and more independent, moving off on her own, finding her own food, and she's getting more independent, but I think KB's also given up chasing her. She's been a handful lately. She loves to climb those fire hoses and the platforms. And Jamila is the youngest of our 3 kiddos. She turned 1 in January. She's about 19 months now, and she came to us from the Fort Worth Zoo in Texas. She's catching up quickly to Kai and Kunda. She's getting a little bit more independent, a little more confident. You can see her climbing a lot, but mostly she sticks pretty close to her mom, Frederica. And both of those little girls are weighing in around 25, 26 pounds. We had another question come in and asking how long does it take for these youngsters to mature to full size. So Kayembe, being a male, when he gets to be about 6, 7, 8 years old, he'll turn into what we call a black back, and he'll look very similar in size to the females. He won't start getting that silver on his back until anywhere from 10 to 12 years old. He'll start to mature and become one of those punky little teenage boys. He won't be full grown until his late teens or so, though. Our girls, Kunda and Jamila, anywhere from 6 to 8 years old, they'll start to be pretty mature and start to reach the same height and so those females and start gaining more weight. So anywhere from 6 to 8 to 10 years old for the females, and then 10 to 12 for our males. It might be difficult for you at home to tell at first, but all of our gorillas look different. Each individual has distinct facial features, their body size, their body structure. They all give different behavioral cues, and they all even have different vocalizations. Us keepers here, we're able to tell each gorilla apart. They all look different to us, but in the wild, it can be a little bit more different, a little bit more difficult if researchers are at a good distance away. One of the earliest forms of identification that wild gorilla researchers use are what we call nose prints. So that's the unique set of wrinkles that all gorillas have right above their nostrils. Early researchers like George Schaller and Diane Fossey cataloged numerous drawings and photographs of individual gorilla noses in order to better track and identify them in those dense forests in Africa. Next time you're at Cleveland Metro Park Zoo, try to look at our noses and identify some of the differences in our gorillas. Gorillas have the ability to communicate using a variety of methods, including facial expressions, vocalizations, chest beats, like you saw little Kunda up there on the platform doing a little play chest beat, and even their body posture or stances can help communicate emotions. Some facial expressions can include a play face, which is kind of an open mouth with a hanging lip, usually accompanied by a low kind of laughter that they do when they're playing. A bared teeth grimace or a smile is usually a sign of contrition or anxiety, like sometimes when a subordinate animal is submitting to a more dominant one. Much like humans, gorillas have the ability to recognize familiar faces in their own species and even across species. As keepers, we can tell when the gorillas notice us outside the exhibit, even if we're milling around in between some of the guests. They'll see us and then kind of do a little double take and then follow us around the exhibit. Gorillas are very visual, and generally direct eye contact between unknown animals or even humans can be considered a form of a challenge or aggression. And there are also a number of vocalizations that communicate alarm, distress, excitement, contentment. One of my favorites to hear is when the gorillas first go out in the morning and they're collecting all their breakfast in the browse. They all have a little food song that they do, a little humming, and it's different for each animal. It's pretty cool to hear. Gorillas are native to the dense sub-Saharan forests of West Central and East Central Africa. They inhabit montane, submontane, and lowland swamp forests and can have home ranges of up to 1 to 5 square miles and can travel an average of a half a mile to a mile each day in search of a diverse array of diet items. At the end of a long day of feeding and foraging, gorillas usually make nests using nearby branches and leaves. You can see Cayambe up at the top of that tree there. After they strip that browse down, a lot of times we'll find pulled apart branches and twigs and that kind of stuff made up into a nice little nest. Some gorillas like to nest on the ground, others might make nests in the trees, and usually the females or the blackbacks have elevated nests while the silverback tends to stay lower to the ground for protection. Individuals make a new nest each night, even if the troop is sleeping in the same location. As keepers, we break up the nests that we find in holding each night. We try to encourage some of those natural behaviors, make them make a new nest in a new spot every night. Everybody kind of sleeps pretty close together, but everybody has their own preferred sleeping places. We give them a number of different substrates and things to use for nesting: straw, wood bowl, wood chips. We even give some reinforced blankets, and we have a bunch of hammocks hanging in their night houses too. Yeah, we had a quick question about how our group's going to look in a few years once Cayambe gets a little older and would reach that natural stage where he would start to migrate out of the group. Cleveland Metro Park Zoo, we work with the Gorilla SSP, and they kind of help us dictate where and when groups are being formed. Cayambe, like I said earlier, at 8 to 10 years old would naturally migrate out of the group. We try to start little bachelor groups when they're a little bit younger, 5, 6, 7 years old, and we see those bachelor groups have a little bit more success. So in the next couple years, there are definitely plans in place to talk with the SSP. We don't have a strict timeline yet, but we will definitely we're definitely working with the SSP to set up a small bachelor group, and in the near future, Cayambe we try to mimic those natural bachelor groups, and we'll be working on that here in the near future. As you can see, gorillas are very social animals, and they live in family groups and bachelor groups. Wild troops can range in number from just a few individuals to over documented groups as large as 50 individuals. Generally, there are, as we said, two different kinds of troops. We have family troops, so we have here in Cleveland, usually consist of the single adult male, a silverback, and multiple adult females, and that can have any number of offspring with them. Those young blackback males start maturing, as we talked about, turning into young silverbacks, and they will eventually get forced from their natal groups and form those loose bachelor groups in the wild. We like to kind of compare them with like a frat house or some college guys living together. These bachelors might feed and forage together, offer protection in numbers, while they're trying to attract females from other groups and start their own family group. Our silverback Makolo was part of a long-lasting bachelor group here at Cleveland Metro Park Zoo. He came in 1994 with 3 other individuals, and that group lasted for over 20 years. Hey everybody, thank you for joining me today. You can visit futureforwildlife.org to learn more about what you can do to make a difference and help the zoo secure a future for wildlife and wild places, including gorillas. Thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned for our next CMZ Live.